Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, we are back with Inside Real Estate. It's Mike Kruziniga here, your host and local DFW area realtor. Website InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. It's time to talk with our favorite guy over at Perma Pier Foundation Repair of Texas, Jared Benson, Director of Marketing over there. By the way, website PermaPier.com. That's PermaPier.com. Phone number 214-637-1444. These guys are the best in foundation repair. Have repaired over 20,000 foundations, and that's a heck of a lot. And by the way, these are the guys that the big builders call when they need some help. Jared, how are we doing today?
Great. I'm doing good this morning. Thanks for that great introduction today.
Well, anytime. We're going to talk a little bit of foundation on a regular basis because here in the DFW area and in Texas in general, we've got some crazy soils, and the information that you provide is huge to the folks out there. And today we thought we'd talk a little bit about kind of misconceptions on, if you need foundation repair, and that, you're not just out there to try to sell foundation jobs. You want to give it to the folks that need it.
Definitely, yeah. We really do just have a desire to make sure that we're helping people. Their home is oftentimes the most important thing they own, their biggest investment, and there's also a big emotional factor in that for them. So we want people to understand that we're out there to make sure that they're taken care of.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. And this, folks, when you're talking about foundation companies or companies in general for that provide any product or service, that's kind of a rare thing that they kind of actually care about you, and they don't want to just sell you a job for whatever it is. So we're going to talk a little bit about some cues, some themes that maybe you've heard out there, for example, sheetrock cracks. Let's talk about that. Every time there's a misconception out there about, if you see a sheetrock crack in your house, your foundation's just going to crumble. Your house is just going to destroy.
Your house is going to fall down around you while you sleep. That tends to be kind of that worry that people have. And so, really quickly before we even get into that, we'll just say, for anyone who's new to the area, or maybe you're a first-time home buyer, or you haven't owned a home before, really foundation repair is pretty common here in DFW, North Texas in general, and it's just because we have a large amount of clay in the soil. So what the clay does is when there are changes in the moisture content, it expands and contracts kind of like a sponge. So when it's dry, it shrinks, and when it gets wet, it expands. So sheetrock cracks. We say, well, why? What's this crack happening? Why is it here? What's going on? And a slab is built on top of this soil generally. There's concrete slabs and there's pier and beam foundations, but, we're talking about slabs kind of specifically right now.
Right.
When that clay moves up and down and expands and contracts, your foundation just tends to wiggle a little bit. And that the concrete is designed to move. Concrete is flexible, which a lot of people don't really quite understand. It doesn't seem flexible. You can't move it with your hand, but a big sheet like that foundation does move a little bit. But that sheetrock really doesn't. Right. So when that foundation flexes and moves a little bit, you're going to see some natural movement from that clay, which can just cause some small cracks in the sheetrock.
Yeah, and it's important to talk about building materials. So you talk about the foundation, the slab, the concrete slab, and yes, it's got some flexibility. And of course, what are our homes built out of? They're built out of wood framing.
Yep.
And of course, wood is flexible.
Wood's very flexible.
And it bends. But then we attach this crazy sheetrock to it just so we can put some decorations on it and paint it and whatnot. And the sheetrock really is not flexible at all.
Yeah, especially not on that flat square plane that it's on, where any sort of the torque or pressure that comes from a change in positioning of what it's attached to, which is the frame, can definitely cause some small issues in slab foundations. But lots and lots of times when you see a pier and beam foundation, which it really is designed to move even more,
right?
You'll see very, very common to have minor sheetrock cracks that really aren't an indication of any type of foundation issue.
Yeah, exactly, because it's very normal for every home to have movement here in the DFW area. And as we talk about sheetrock, a lot of people look at sheetrock and are like, oh, wow, there's cracks in the walls, and it's like the wall is supposed to be impenetrable. Well, you need to think about what's the wall made of. Behind the wall is wood framing, and yes, it is strong, it is sturdy, but it's flexible. But the sheetrock is, we can just flick it and really put a hole in it.
Yeah.
So clearly when the foundation is moving, it's not going to stand up to that.
Yeah, definitely.
So definitely huge misconception there. And so I think, a lot of times when, first-time buyers in particular walking into homes and they've heard of this, they're like, oh, it's got sheetrock crack, this house is going to fall down. And so that's why we want to kind of address that. And then also, if you are a homeowner and you start to experience that over time, particularly if you were a first-time homeowner and you start to experience it, and there's those scare tactics out there that are honestly used by your competitors. And I think that may be part of the misconception. You'll see ads and commercials out there by your competitors that maybe show a sheetrock crack. Now, obviously, it's an extensive one, and in those cases, maybe, yes, there's some issues underlying there. But so those scare tactics, they scare folks, and that I think that's where some of these misconceptions come from.
We've actually had a customer tell us that she had multiple people come in and look at her house, and that we sent someone out there. They kind of did the evaluation. They recommended maybe like 14 piers, about average size job. It wasn't too big of a deal. But one of our big competitors did go out there, and I don't want to say that this is a representation of the entire company, but at least that individual who went out there and looked at her property, walked through her house telling her that this was a really big deal, that it was very serious, that she really needed to take care of right away, and then proceeded to give her an enormous estimate for nearly $20,000 for a whole lot more work than we really thought was needed on that house. So while not everyone does work poorly, there are certainly people out there that will use scare tactics to try and sell foundation repair.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're out there and you're thinking you do need some, foundation work done, obviously you want to give our guys at Perma Pier a call. The website's permapier.com. Phone number 214-637-1444, by the way. Mentioned you heard it here on the radio show. What other big misconceptions do you think are out there as well about foundation repair, and when you don't need it? Yeah,
one of the biggest misconceptions is the cost. Many people, and anytime you ask someone, what do you think it's going to cost to repair your foundation, their mind goes to $20,000, $30,000, $40,000.
Right.
And now I don't want to tell you that never happens, but in reality, the average cost of foundation repair is about $5,500. Now, is that fun? No. The answer is no. I've had to replace a roof myself. It's not fun to come out of pocket that kind of money.
Right.
But when I called my roofer, he could tell I was stressed. He could tell I was worried. And he said, Jared, it's not going to be $20,000. You're doing the exact same thing people do that call you. Right. It's not that big a deal. It's going to get taken care of. So I think the price is the biggest misconception. Really, probably one of the biggest misconceptions right there.
Yeah, I think I agree, and it is. It's just, I think it's just scary. It's scary that it's something going on with your house. You're worried about it, and then there is that misconception about the cost out there, and it really isn't all that bad. And of course, you have multiple financing options, as well. Now, obviously, if you're a seller and you need to do foundation work, then part of the program working with us and that you have is that, you've got the pay at closing option.
Yep.
But what about the other financing options?
Well, cash is always great.
Absolutely. Cash is key.
All major credit cards, but, and the stuff that really helps people, the stuff that you're asking about is, what kind of financing options are there? And we work with a great third-party lender who they don't put liens on properties in order to loan the money for that repair. They actually got started out of a major home improvement store. That's where they got started, so they're a reputable company. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, you do want to be careful because it is a line of credit that they're giving you. They're going to pull your your credit history and everything else. So. But third-party financing anywhere from, 0 down, no interest for 12 months to, for some clients, 10 months or 10 years is what they want to pay over, it's a decent interest rate, but they want to make payments over the course of 10 years. And, so we have anything in that range for them.
And obviously it's up to the people that, need the work done.
Yep.
We can find a financing option that is as unique as they are. And of course, maybe they want to do it with a home equity line of credit.
Yep.
Maybe they want to do a little more rehab with the home as well.
Maybe they have a 203K that you never see anymore.
Exactly.
So.
We can get them with our folks over at Supreme Lending Rockwall. We could maybe refinance and do a rehab on it and get the foundation work done, as well as maybe get some other updating done to their property as well. So all kinds of financing options. I'm thinking, hey, those are air miles.
Yeah.
Let's get it on that air mile card that you love to use, folks out there, and get it done. But there's a lot of other great options as well. What else do you think is a misconception?
We've really covered a lot of the big ones.
Yeah, I think so. I think the big ones that I always hear all the time working with clients are the sheetrock cracks and the price, and I think we nailed those pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, folks, I think we're going to wrap up this segment here with Jared Benson, Director of Marketing over at permapier.com, for all your foundation needs. And, even if you just want somebody to come out and check your foundation, maybe you saw a crack in the sheetrock that's extensive. We talked about that being a misconception, but if it's extensive, you might need to have somebody look at it. If you've got a crack or you're feeling some movement in the house, a crack in the bricks and whatnot, give us a call. By the way, phone number 214-637-1444. Permapier.com is the website. Folks, we've had another great foundation segment here at Inside Real Estate. Website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Folks, we're going to be back in a few.